This week, a special report on the number of books hoping to cash in on the Oscar Pistorius trial. The man behind the Parlotones success joins us to talk about his new project and one-on-one with creative innovator Tom Kelly, who keynoted at this year's Digital Edge Live. Greetings and welcome to Mags on Media. Now, as the world waits for sentencing in the Oscar Pistorius trial, the floodgates have opened as numerous books about the disgraced Blade Runner have hit the shelves. eNCA senior reporter Karyn Maughan now takes a look at the good, the bad and the ugly.
Oscar Pistorius' trial was the first in South African history to be broadcast live, enabling audiences across the world to follow every aspect of the case, every piece of evidence presented in the most minute detail. After all the exposure and all the media analysis, this case poses a unique challenge to those who choose to write about Pistorius. How do you tell the story of the Paralympian who shot his girlfriend in a way that will intrigue a Pistorius-weary audience? EWN journalists Mandy Weiner and Barry Bateman, authors of Behind the Door, believe their book reveals features about the case that readers didn't know.
We certainly offer a comprehensive review of what happened, but I do think that we bring exclusive content in terms of interviews that we've done with role players, information that we've uncovered ourselves through our own investigations, and also a lot of analysis and a lot of behind-the-scenes conversations.
Perhaps people think because they had watched the trial on television, what was happening is not every word that you saw on the TV that was going on in court. There were a lot of things happening in the background that your regular TV watcher wasn't exposed to. And I think we bring that to the reader and we'll be able to explain what was happening on the sidelines of the court case.
Behind the Door is being launched in early October. It's also being published in the UK and America. Already on the shelves is this book, Oscar, An Accident Waiting to Happen. It's not about the trial, but rather Pistorius' rocky relationship with his ex-girlfriend Samantha Taylor, as told by her mother. Patricia Taylor insists the book isn't aimed at making money off River Steenkamp's tragic death. Instead, she claims it's about defending her daughter's honor.
We would never have chosen to be in the media. By the time we wrote this book, we were all over the world. Samantha's story was everywhere. Unfortunately, there were a lot of untruths, mainly out there. And it got to the stage where, as a mom, I felt very protective over her. And it's heartbreaking to read these stories. And we've had media attorneys and advisors, and all of them said to rectify something after it's there is very difficult. If you tell your truth in the beginning, people can choose to believe it or not believe it.
Taylor's book paints a very unflattering picture of Pistorius, whose relationship with Samantha ended amid mutual accusations of infidelity. Samantha has also told the city press that Pistorius was a player. She's also accused Steenkamp of stalking her on social media. Judge Thokozile Masipa has described Samantha Taylor as a woman scorned, but her mother insists this tell-all book isn't about revenge.
I think I'll always care for him. I think it's natural human nature. So I think a part of me will always care for him and worry and feel sad for him. You know, I feel sad for where he's ended up and what's happened.
The book is co-authored by Melinda Ferguson, who documented her recovery from drug addiction in the best-selling memoir, Smacked. Ferguson admits that initially she was reluctant to write anything about Pistorius or his trial.
I was very disparaging of the whole Oscar genre. I felt like it was actually quite sick, to be honest. I thought, vampire writers, what are they doing? And then Trish came to me in Franschhoek. She was very sweet and very convincing to me that what she was going to tell me was something that was very precious, actually. I mean, which writer wouldn't say yes to a story that said, we knew Oscar Pistorius, we saw the demise, and we know, and she knows in a way what was going on while he was falling apart.
Ferguson also concedes that there has been a backlash against the book, both from some critics and members of the public, but it is selling. The obsession with Pistorius has prompted some publishers to commission books on the athlete. Author Marita Fitzpatrick says Jonathan Ball asked her to write an Afrikaans book about the trial because the company believed Afrikaans readers would buy a Pistorius title aimed specifically at them.
Personal experience is that people are quite astoundingly still interested. I think there's still a mystery attached to the whole case. There's still a sense of intrigue. And I think people didn't get the closure and the answers that they were actually looking for in this trial.
While the Oscar books are largely and inevitably focused on the Paralympian himself, Reeva Steenkamp's mother, June, has announced that she's writing a book about her daughter titled Reeva, A Mother's Story. She's described the memoir as a, quote, painfully honest and unflinching examination of her emotions during the Pistorius trial and its verdict. Tragic and intriguing, the Oscar Pistorius trial has been about more than testimony and legal drama. Somewhere beneath the headlines, it is the story of a young woman's terrible death and a superstar's fall from grace. Arguably, the tragedy and waste of that story may be difficult to put into words. Karyn Maughan for Mags on Media.
All right, let's move now from books to technology, and I want to get my head around this. Something called near-field communication is a hot new trend. It has the potential to revitalize the marketing sector. It enables, from what I understand, marketers to deliver content via an embedded chip that allows wireless communication when a user touches a smartphone or a mobile device to a piece of marketing collateral. If you're confused, let's try and decode this for you. Raphael Domalik is with us, the man behind the original commercial success of the Parlotones band, and he's now playing aggressively in the space. Welcome, it's good to talk to you. Near-field communication, but there's also something called BLE.
That's right.
Which you're going to tell me is perhaps a little bit more supersedent than near-field communication. What are the two and why are they important?
Our next evolution in marketing is really contextual marketing, where we can go back 100 years to the days where your baker knew your name and your grocer knew your name, and they knew you and what you would like. And this technology allows us to take things back there on a platform that ultimately destroyed it in the first place. Now, NFC is your near-field communication, which is a data exchange protocol. It's a secure exchange protocol between two devices, or two chips rather. It's a two-way communication, so it allows for payment. It's going to become the dominant mobile payment protocol now that Apple has just embedded it into its phones. It's now definitely off to a running start. But from a marketing perspective, we can get creative. There are already posters with embedded imaging. You can put it in retail for more information, for sources of product. You can use it as entry mechanisms. Now, the reason it's such a leader in the payment sector is because it provides for a technology called HCE, which is host card emulation, which means it can replace your credit card.
All right, fine. So let's move from that now to BLE. Then.
So BLE is your Bluetooth Low Energy, which is a new form of Bluetooth, which doesn't use much power, therefore doesn't drain your battery. It works on beacons. So you can put beacons in specific places, and as the user walks past, it awakens the app and communicates with the user.
All right, so I'm walking through a shopping mall,
Yes.
for instance. Maybe there's a sports goods store
Yes.
that wants to promote something.
Yes, obviously at that level, two things can happen. You can have location-based marketing. You walk into the store, can say, hello, Jeremy, how are you? Here's our specials. Or it can go deeper and integrate into systems of record where it actually knows a little bit more about you and can offer you exactly what you're interested in.
The big plus here, of course, for marketers is that you're creating perpetual real-time analytics then.
Absolutely. You can really get to know your customer like never before.
To what extent then, Raphael, is this being taken up in South Africa? And perhaps more importantly, the smartphones themselves. Are we enabled in that respect?
Yeah, so in the BLE space, most smartphones are already there. In the NFC space, most of your smartphones, except for Apple, but iPhone 6 is now NFC enabled. So yes, we are ready for that. As far as being taken up, South Africa's right at the beginning, America's right at the beginning. But it is noted as the most important retail technology since the mobile credit card reader. So the big chains in the States are rushing to equip their stores with this stuff.
So what you're doing really is you're creating a bridge, from what I understand, between the physical and the digital world.
Without a doubt.
But are there brands in the US that are now using this optimally? I understand, for instance, Disney plays aggressively in this.
So, I mean, Disney was a leader in this, developing their Magic Band system, which kind of makes use of GPS, it makes use of geofencing, NFC, all kinds of technologies. You get your armband, it knows where you are, you make your payments with it, you check into your hotel with it. Your entire experience is on this armband. No more wallets, no more anything. Macy's, Nordstrom, all those guys are rushing to implement beacons everywhere.
Thank you for that look into the future. Really appreciate your time. And that is the future of marketing here on Mags on Media. Just how quick is that uptake going to be? Up next, we'll catch up with an international heavy hitter at this year's Digital Edge Live conference here in Johannesburg.